Hi Virgo, I'm Desi, and I love you. Pleasure to meet you. Have we already met? I don't even know, but I'm just glad that you're here. This is my channel, Starchaeology Tarot. We do tarot readings that dig deep into you, hence the archaeological component. Plus the star. The star card in tarot is a card of divine healing, wish fulfillment, dreams coming true, and divine guidance. So I like all of our digs to have that goal and intention in mind, which is why this channel is named what it is. That is a history lesson, a recent history lesson. Virgo, I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing this channel with people, with friends and enemies. Because you know what? Maybe we want our enemies actually to grow and evolve and become more self-aware, even than we want our friends to, because then they won't be our enemies anymore if they get smarter and kinder and more empathic, and then our enemies can become our friends. Did I just make a huge discovery? But really, guys, no one is our enemy, even in the first place. You know, we're all... separateness is an illusion. Oh, this is a big, deep talk for another time, and it's not here, because you know why? This is your April tarot reading, and it's about time I dive into it. Some of this is going to resonate with you, some of it won't, Virgo, and that's really very normal. That's what I say as a tarot doctor. This is totally normal. Don't be nervous. Side effects of this tarot reading are that some things will resonate with you and some things are not. That just means what resonates is what is meant for you. What doesn't, it's not. Thank you so much for being my patient. Do doctors ever say that? Thank you so much for being my patient. I think every doctor should say that. On that note, Virgo, let's see what's in store for you for April. Set an intention, ask your question, manifest your desire as I shuffle now. Let's tune in with spirit and make some magic happen. Virgo, so we have the Ace of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Seven of Cups. One message of this is the new opportunity that you have, whether this is a new love that's in your life, that can be a literal romantic love, a new relationship that's starting, whether that's romantic or platonic, or like a new love in your life, like a new opportunity that fills your heart, that makes your heart full, that is emotionally filling your cup, making you feel happy. Really, this is about joy. This also can be like feeling things that are real. You know, something new in your life that is making you feel things that are very real. I feel like that's very important for you. We often think of the Ace of Swords as representing the truth, like clarity, like mental clarity. This is like feeling clarity. Whatever new clarity you have about how you feel about something. It doesn't even have to be something new coming into your life, but just a new way of feeling about something. That might be causing some of you to act rashly, to race into a new adventure, Ace of Swords, you know, really thinking that you know what this is because you have this new clarity about this new heart clarity, or you're excited about what's filling your cup right now and making you feel a certain way. So you might be tempted to race into action, to take action because you think you know what this is. Seven of Cups tells us that this might not be what you think it is. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, Virgo. It just might not be what you think it is. Seven of Cups represents chaos and confusion. And oftentimes, you know, when we think... sometimes when we have we've sorted something out inside of ourselves, we feel pressure to take action in a way that passive realization is always made more powerful when it's paired with action. But the timing of that is not, it doesn't need to happen immediately. It doesn't need, something can change and shift internally for you, and you can then allow that to physically change your world rather than enforcing the change in your physical world. That is meant for some of you. I'm hearing that that's something that's important for some of you to hear right now. It's like you don't need to do something to make the emotional and inner shift real necessarily. So if you're feeling like you need to act just for the sake of action, stop yourself, because that could only lead for some of you to more confusion, more chaotic feeling. It can actually undo the clarity and feeling that you have now, or that you are about to come into in April. Don't be afraid to be with the feeling. Don't be afraid to be alone with what's happening inside of you. You don't need to show other people what's happening in you in order to make what's happening in you real. You are the observer of what's happening in you, and that makes it real enough. Also, you can take your time with that inner transformation. You can take your time with what is emerging inside of you. There's no need to rush this. Action can unfold. You can allow for action rather than leading action, rather than inciting the action. So don't feel like if you are in the space of allowing that somehow you are being lazy, or you're letting things happen to you. You're not. There's power. There's just as much power sometimes in waiting and in inaction as there is in taking action, as long as it is a conscious decision. And the Knight of Swords tells us oftentimes that there's a lack of consciousness going on in that action. You know, there's a rashness, there's a false sense of knowing and acting just for the sake of showing that you know, and that might not necessarily serve you this time around. So that's some people. For others of you, the message is very opposite. So whichever of these resonate with you more is the one that's meant for you. You are having some of you are having an emotional clarity, an emotional transformation happening. And no, sorry. For some of you, the opposite, or something almost like the opposite is happening. Rather than an emotional transformation happening, you are having visions and daydreams that are creative. This has to do with your creative power, because cups also rule the realm of creativity and creation and imagination, and what we allow to flow through us from the divine, and how we manifest that in the real world. So some of you are being given creative inspiration here. You're being you're having like visions and daydreams that are being given to you that are filling your cup, and they exist almost in this fantasy world right now. Without action, some of you might be afraid to take action on these fantasies and on these daydreams because you are worried about result, or you're more worried about quality than you are about quantity. For those of you who are artists, or you are creating something, whether, and you are an artist in whatever definition that is, you can be, a product manager at a corporation, and that's creative work. Like, I'm not saying you have to be a painter to be an artist here, whatever it is that you are creating. In The Artist's Way, Julia Cameron talks a lot about the importance of prioritizing quantity over quality, focusing on the journey and not putting so much value in the finished product. Because if we become perfectionists about the finished product, we end up not creating things that would need to be created, because we get too in our heads about the result. And this process of creation, these daydreams, these visions, this imagination is being given to you so that it can be explored, so that you can put it into action. If they just remain in your head, you don't get the benefits of them. And the benefits is not necessarily a perfect result. It's not necessarily this perfect success that comes from the result of the project. It might be in the journey. And it also can be the journey of this project can then lead you to other projects that would have much more polished results, or the success in results that you hope for. But if you avoid making those daydreams reality, or trying to make those daydreams reality because you're too attached to what you're creating, then what ends up happening is you sacrifice the dream itself. You never bring it into the physical realm. You never make it real. You never take action on it. And that is a guarantee of failure. So this is, for those of you for whom this Ace of Cups represents an artistic endeavor or a creative endeavor, you creating something, bringing something from your imagination into the world. The message is quite the opposite. Take action on it without thinking. Take spontaneous and rash action on it. Just focus on doing, on spending hours on this, not about the finished result. Because the longer these fantasies, daydreams live in your imagination, these creative ideas just live in your imagination, the more muddled they'll become, the more they'll grow dust and cobwebs that make them murky and muddy, and the more ideas you'll have that'll build upon them, and then it becomes confusing what you start first, what you do. This is about saying yes to the gift of imagination being given to you in that moment, and honoring it by taking action on it in that moment, so that you don't have time for ideas to build up in your imagination to the point that it becomes too overwhelming and too confusing about where to even begin. You need, as artists, to take action on this, Virgo, because your imagination in and of itself means very little when you don't connect it to anything outside of yourself. When you don't connect what's in your imagination to your outside world, it's like you are wasting a divine gift. So don't waste that gift, Virgo. Do something about it, and focus just on the adventure of it, not the destination. That's a hard thing to do, especially in today's world where we have this idea of perfection, obsession with perfection, on a widely accepted cultural level. But if you're able to remove yourself from those expectations, from that attachment to result, you open yourself up to the blessings of new daydreams, new fantasies, and that just feeds itself. You get more inspiration, you get more imagination. Your creative and imaginative life become even more rich the more you say yes to those things and bring them outside of yourself, channel them through an outlet outside of yourself. If not, they gather, they pile up high upon themselves and mix with your doubts and fears, and become such an overwhelming burden because they don't have a place to go. So take care, do some inner housekeeping and house cleaning in that imagination to keep it clean, to keep movement in it. That's a real gift that you give to yourself. Very cool, Virgo. I would love to hear which of these interpretations resonate with you, what's going on in your life. Please comment below if you want to open your heart and share with me. I would be honored to get a little sneak peek into you. I'm so grateful for you being here, being part of this collective, being part of this community. If you feel so inclined, please like and subscribe to this channel. This community is growing, and if you are here right now, remember that what you are contributing just with your energy is helping to craft what the energy and vibration is of this community, of this channel. You bring something to this that nobody else does, and it's an honor for me to have you be a part of it, have you be a part of this collective. So thank you so much. Thank you for liking, subscribing, commenting. I am rooting for you in April, Virgo, and I love you, and I'll see you next time.